Greetings from the mountain path, the world of finance. Today we'll discuss the CAGR, the compound annual growth rate. So, what is CAGR? It measures the return on investment over a period of time. It's an accounting term mostly used by investment analysts and investment managers. So, what are the uses of CAGR? CAGR, it helps to compare the revenue growth of competing companies, or also it helps us to understand how the business has grown or developed. So we are going to look into 6 methods of calculating CAGR. So we'll start with the manual formula. We'll also use the RRI function in Excel. We'll use the power function in Excel. We can also calculate CAGR using IRR function. We can use the rate function in Excel. We can also simply calculate the geometric mean, which is nothing but the CAGR. Let's quickly take an example here. Let's say we have some sales revenues from 2012 to 2017. So each year, that means 6 year sales revenue is given. That means the number of periods is going to be 5 because the growth can be measured for 6 years. Only 5 growths can be measured. So that is a very important thing. You should understand that. The first method to calculate CAGR, we will use the formula method, which is nothing but the end value divided by the beginning value to the power of 1 by 5 minus 1. In this example, 1200 divided by 1600 divided by 1200 to the power of 1 by 5 minus 1. So that will give you 5.922%. We can use a simplified approach in Excel if you use the RRI function. If you know the end value, if you know the beginning value and the number of periods, if you use the RRI and the first input is asked for and it asks for the number n. So we can use a RRI function, which is by far the simplest method to calculate CAGR. You see that RRI, the first input is it asks for the number of periods and that is 5 here. Then it asks for the present value, the beginning value. Then it asks for the end value. Then close the bracket. So you get the 5.922% as the what is called the CAGR. So it's a very simple method to calculate in Excel using RRI. We'll also use a power function. So we know the end value, we know the beginning value, we know the period. So we can also use a power function here. We need to use the power function, that is equal to power in bracket. So we need to have the end value. The end value is 1600 divided by the beginning value and then comma 1 by n, the 1 by 5. So and minus 1. So if you really calculate this one, you get the same. If you can use the power function also, you will get the same CAGR. So n power and end value divided by beginning value, comma 1 by n, 1 by 5, close bracket, minus 1. That is how we need to calculate the CAGR using power function. We can also use a IRR function. IRR function we need to modify a little bit. We need to put the beginning value as minus 1200. Then we can put the rest of the values as 0. Then the end value. Then we can simply use the IRR function and we can skip the guess value also. So it also gives you the same CAGR. Only thing, you should not put any kind of values in between. So IRR also you can use for the CAGR. You can also use a rate function. A little tricky, but you need to use and rate open bracket the row of the ending row of the beginning value minus the row of the end value and comma. So we should not put anything for the PMT value. Then you can use and what is called for the present value you have to use the end value, and for the future value you have to use the beginning value, comma 0. Let me just demonstrate that. So that means the rate function, we normally use it for interest rate. Now we can use that. So the first input it asks for and you can see the row of and the row of the end value, the row of the beginning value and minus the row of the end value, and this is the row of the end value, and then for the next item it asks for the PMT, we can give a blank or a 0. Then it asks for the and then the present value, we can put a minus, and the present value is nothing but here, and the present value is the end value, and then you can put the beginning value and the comma 0, or we can skip it. So you will get the same 5.92 and CAGR. So this is slightly tricky, but can still there is a method to calculate that. Now the last method, using geometric method, so this is a very important. So what is a geometric mean method? So what is geometric mean? And we know what is an arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean is nothing but the average of the growth. So first we need to find out what is the growth here. The growth is nothing but the next year period divided by the previous year period minus 1. So we got the growth for the 5 years out of the 6 years. Now add 1 plus the growth rate, keep the data ready, then we can calculate the average, that is nothing but average mean, that is not we don't want. So what we want is actually the geometric mean, which is nothing but the product. And so what is geometric mean? It is nothing but 1 plus g1 into 1 plus g2 into 1 plus g3 into 1 plus g4 into 1 plus g5 to the power of 1 by n minus 1. So we can here, we can simply and use a product function in Excel, and then you can put the power and 1 by 5 and to the power and minus 1. So we can simply calculate the geometric mean and using the and CAGR using the geometric mean approach. So we are able to calculate one of the important metric and CAGR using Excel RRI function or formula or power function or IRR or rate function and geometric mean. Now, so what are the disadvantage of a CAGR? It is based on the results of the previous time frame and cannot guarantee that return on the investment will be the same in the future, and the market conditions will change. And it does not tell anything about the investment risk. And it is a smooth value, meaning that implies constant growth rate. And also it does not show the history of highs and lows that investment has seen. And because when we, in the initial formula approach, when we just put some zeros or change any values, the CAGR does not change here. So that is a very important, that's what the disadvantage of a CAGR. And it does not calculate the profitability of an investment, and that is the main thing. And also does not consider the fluctuations or market volatility. So we have seen how to calculate CAGR, one of the important metric, and especially in finance. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.